place of struggling why St. Patrick's Center was the place for me. And once I got here and I started to hear some of those internal mindsets, and this kind of gets back to that last point that I talked about of being innovative and bold. I came in, I think, to an environment of success, an agency that was very good at what they did, but there was a few barriers that were built, some between departments, but more importantly, kind of barriers to innovation, some barriers to thinking differently. I came in with I wasn't a social worker. I mean, my mom was an alcohol and drug counselor for 32 years, and that was about as close as I probably got to being a social worker. But I couldn't accept the traditional homeless system as I saw it. I didn't accept the fact that homeless people are just kind of part of the urban fabric, and it is our job to manage them. I was actually told once by a social worker that those people who live out there on the street, the chronically homeless, they like to be out there, and that they're just not ready for housing. Now, that's somebody who's entrenched. That's somebody who's gotten to know a process and a system so well that they've grown to accept it. I didn't accept it. I felt like there's something missing. A dog wouldn't want to be out there. And the more closely I got to the situation, I realized how much time, effort, energy, and resources, stewardship, was being put into the management of this problem. Not to ending it, but to managing it. We have conditioned those people to exist out there. But it took a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh person, a person who maybe was called by God to do something a little bit differently. And that is to say that no American in the world's wealthiest nation that holds 48% of the world's wealth should have anyone living under a bridge or on a street or in an alley or on a park bench. And we shouldn't spend our legal resources protecting their right to that park bench. We should spend our legal resources in getting them into fair and affordable and equitable housing that's safe and clean and dignified and a platform for making better choices. We're America, for God's sake. We can do it better. I got an agency of volunteers, of board members, of staff members who believe in that vision, who fight every day for new resources and new money and new ways of bringing more affordable housing to that population. And we've seen a 30% reduction in chronic homelessness just in the last 4 years. Fewer people living on the streets, fewer veterans on the streets, fewer mentally ill people on the streets. That was my calling to help get involved in that fight. What's yours? Is it elderly? Is it education? Could you mentor a young kid? What could you do? What's the injustice out there that you could have a say in? This agency is trying to have a say along with dozens of other partner agencies and government agencies, public-private partnership, are getting after this homeless problem. We still need more allies. We still need more support. But there's a whole lot of other great causes out there, too, that need good people to step up. I just need you to be open to his plan. And it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and tell you stewardship is easy and it's going to happen overnight. It is a process. I am still in process every day. I fail as a steward, and I do some things okay as a steward. I started off by talking about 1993 and the stewardesses, right? I truly believe God met me where I was for a reason. He gave me that image. Because that's what we are. We are all stewardesses on his airline. We all get that gift of pushing beverage carts. There's some in this society pushing giant buffets down the aisle. I think the question that we have to ask is how much of that cart will we share for others, and how much of that cart do we need to hoard for ourselves? The funny thing is, though, is that when the flight's over and the tower calls us home, and some of those flights are going to be different in duration. Some will be long and prosperous and wonderful flights. Some may be cut tragically short. But that tower is going to call and tell you it's time to land. And I just believe that we're going to be asked how much is left on our cart. Or how much did we hold back? How much did we give to God's passengers, those who were in need, who were hungry and sick? And how many of it how much of that cart were you saving for your rainy day? I know your flight has turbulence right now. Lots of it. You got a storm, you're in the middle of it, and you got to try to figure out how to navigate. Nobody's expecting you to have the beverage cart out in the aisle. You need to hold that beverage cart tight and make sure that you are taking care of yourself and making sure that you're going to get through it. But the blue skies are going to come again. You're going to fly safe and sound again. I think the question, all I'm asking you to do is say, can you give up more of that cart than you were given before the storm? If you can, there's a whole lot of people who need you. A whole lot of people hurting, a lot of passengers in your plane who need your help. This room will be there to help them soon. Be a good steward and have a good day.
Sit down. Don't you turn around.